June 7th, 2016. We now take you to Germany with a report. Stay with us.
There was one Muslim, an Afghani Muslim, and he told me at a rally, I will cut off your head.
Rob Dew reporting for Infowars.com. We are in Munich, Germany. We just landed, and we're at the train station here in downtown Munich. About a 15-minute drive from the airport. And as you can see, it's a hustle and bustle. Lots of people coming around here. And what are we here for, mainly? To talk about the migrant crisis that is going on in Europe and how it can spill over to the United States. Last year, there were about 1 million migrants coming into Germany. Where we're at in Bavaria had the second most highest concentration of migrants. And they have them in areas all around here. Right now, there's not a high concentration in the train station. And so far this year, with the closing of the borders, there's only been about 200,000 entering in. But now here's my friend Michael Strutzenberger. He is with the German Freedom Party. And so we're going to do a little interview. I talked with him on email, and he agreed to meet with us. So tell us about your German Freedom Party. What are you guys all about?
So we are informing the people about Islam, about the danger of Islam, and we want to have direct democracy. Right. We want that the people vote for very important decisions. And we are very aware of that refugee problem, because you told it was more than 1 million people coming last year. This year, over 200,000, and this is a big problem for Germany.
And so what kind of strain does that put on your infrastructure in terms of crime, in terms of extra police presence, in terms of them basically feeding off the system?
We have a lot of people from Northern Africa, and there are many of them who make criminality. There is rape problem, this stealing, and people start to feel insecure in their own country. Women fear, little girls fear when they go to school. Many of the refugees are Muslims. They are coming from a total different culture, where women are on a lower level and raping is something normal for them. So it's a very difficult situation.
And how many would you estimate are men, say 18 to 50, that are coming in to your country?
So there are a lot of young men coming. They are between 18 and 25, most of them Muslims, not so many women, not so many children, and most of them have no right for asylum. They are refugees into our social system. They want to have a better life. And our politicians say, oh, all welcome. They want to be good Germans, welcome to everybody. And it's not so good.
So I was reading on the internet about a project you were working on. Basically, Saudi Arabia wanted to fund one of the largest mosques here in Munich. And tell us about your efforts to fight that.
So we collected signatures for 3 years. We had 65,000 people who subscribed, but the city of Munich, the politicians, don't want that referendum, so they put us to court to fight against that referendum. So we have to fight for the right of the people to decide. It's so crazy. Now we had to start a new referendum, and we want definitely to stop this project, because somebody from Saudi Arabia financing this huge mosque would be a big problem, because Saudi Arabia is putting millions and millions of dollars in building mosques all over Europe, in Bosnia and Germany and everywhere. They want to Islamize Europe. And they are financing terror. They are financing Al-Qaeda. They are financing Islamic State. So it's so crazy what's going on there. We have to stop it. But the politicians close their eyes, because the money from the Arabic world is very important for Munich. They are coming rich Arabians here in the hospitals, and they are buying here in the luxury shops millions of euros for the city. So they let all them in.
Our reporters are in Germany. Rob Dew, Josh Owens, they're going to be joining us coming up today at 12:30 Central Standard Time. Now, that's over in Europe. Out on the West Coast, Leanne McAdoo, Joe Biggs, and others will be joining us from California. And, of course, they've got those big primaries taking place today. And they're saying that Hillary Clinton has cinched the nomination, even though she's stolen delegates from Bernie Sanders. He is not capitulating, says he's going to fight. But the mainstream media is saying that she is now the presumptive nominee and that Donald Trump has it 100%. I don't think it's over until the fat lady sings or until the war criminal sings, because anything is possible with the technocrats that are in control of our nation right now. But we're going to be talking to Leanne McAdoo, Joe Biggs, and others coming up on the West Coast. And, of course, Rob Dew and others with live video feeds as well from Germany. This is mainly a radio show. It started out 21 years ago as a radio show, but I'd also been doing television for 21 years. And so in about the last 16, 17 years, I merged the two, and this is what we call InfoWars Live with yours truly, Alex Jones. If you're just driving along in your car and hear us talking about video feeds and things like that, you can always go to Infowars.com/show, or just go to Infowars.com and click on the show tab, radio show tab, and it actually has all of the video feeds as well. In fact, that ought to be radio/TV tab, because that confuses some folks, but that's up there on Infowars.com, and it's a great link, obviously, to send out to everyone you know on a routine basis, because they are trying to shut down free speech and destroy nationalism, the family, and any form of possible resistance to the technocracy. Let me do my best here and just go over some of these headlines. Dr. Bill Warner of PoliticalIslam.com will be joining us. He's been highly requested by listeners the last few years. I finally sat down and read one of his books a few months ago and watched some of his videos. He's well-spoken. He gives you a good historical breakdown, but I've read so many mainline history books. What he's saying is just admitted fact if you're informed. So he kind of goes slowly through it all. This will be his first visit with us for 30 minutes or so. I'm going to say, listen, you know, you're an expert on this, but I've already researched what you're saying before I knew you. I know what you're saying is just mainline historical fact. Give us the boil down and then the timeline of where this is going. So we're not going to have 2-3 hours to go over this with him, but you know, he is a popular speaker that breaks all of this down, so he will be joining us. But I have to remember that even with informed groups out there, when you really learn about the history of Islam from its own writings and what the goal is, it's shocking that Western governments would be trying to bring in unsustainable groups of people from the most radical areas and then having everyone bow to their will. It really shows you how inherently wicked and anti-freedom-based the Western controllers are. But again, after they've brought in radical Islam and funded radical Islam to take over much of the areas already controlled by Muslims, once that radicalization process is accelerated into la-la land, there will be a clash of civilizations that will be expanded between the West per the PNAC plan. This is official plan by the globalist, and most of those countries will be basically turned into glass parking lots. So everyone's being set up right now, being played off against each other. I'm not against Muslims. I'm not against Arabs. I'm not against Indonesians. I'm not against Mongolian Muslims. But here's the deal. If you come here, we're not going to conform to your religious beliefs and ideas. We're not going to lose our freedoms of the Renaissance, hard fought, the Enlightenment, because you want us to bow to your will. And that goes the same for pedophile-run Hollywood that wants to teach 5-year-olds how to have anal sex in the public schools and that wants to arrest California schoolgirls that talk about the Bible at lunch. SWAT teams are being deployed. I have the articles. So you've got the sick, weird left in such a fetish to butcher the West that they'll ally with one of the most caveman, oppressive, monotheistic, chauvinistic, crazy town systems because it just creates such a melee, and they want to blow it all up. They want to bring it down because they can't compete with free market, even though we're a limited free market, a crony capitalist system. What's left of it is so powerful. It has an engine of choice in what you buy and what you sell and what you produce that they fear its revolutionary power and want to fully extinct it. That's why for a normal person, you say, this doesn't make any sense. This is they're promoting people being lazy. They're promoting people being stupid. They are promoting every form of racism and classism and sexism, while at the same time saying that they're trying to stop it. And it's because they are social engineers that exempt themselves from the very programs they put us under. Now, it was last Friday that I finally started paying attention, because a lot of times I'm ahead of the curve on big news items, but sometimes when I see a whole bunch of different attacks being beta tested against gun groups or Christian groups or veterans groups or nationalist organizations or medical freedom groups, whatever the case may be, anytime I'm seeing an attack on that, there's so many of them, I'll kind of watch it grow before I comment. And for a week, I'd been hearing about Trump University and how it's the most evil thing on the planet and it's so horrible. And I've been hearing about that for months, but it accelerated. And then Trump came out and said, this judge is being very political. He works with very political groups that are basically pro-Mexico. And so he is loyal to Mexico. But Trump just said, he's a Mexican, he's not for America, and allowed them to spin it that he was saying because he's a Mexican, he can't be a judge. And that's not what Trump was really saying. And in fact, in a larger clip, he clarified it in his statement. But again, they know that they're dealing with the population in this country, especially on the West Coast, I don't care what color they are, that cannot find their butts with both hands. I mean, you've seen our videos, you've seen the other reporter videos, you've seen Mark Dice. I mean, these are unedited. We're showing you everyone we're talking to. And I don't care whether they're an old white man or a young black man or a young Hispanic woman. These people do not know what planet they're on. And then all they hear is, yeah, Trump said this judge can't rule because he's a Mexican. No, Trump said, no, he's fine. He's loyal to the Mexicans and not to this country. People said he's a federal judge. What do you mean? Well, most federal judges, in my view, aren't loyal to this country. Look at their rulings throwing out the Bill of Rights and Constitution. So Trump's good at dumbing things down, but sometimes he dumbs it down too much and the nuances get lost. But listen, the Daily Caller first reported on this. WorldNet Daily has dug into it. So have we. And there's 13,000 different articles out there. I saw on this today when I did a Google search. 1,300 of them, strangely enough, have comments from yours truly in there. So at least we're counter-striking now with the facts. And here's the headline: Judge, law firm bringing Trump U case. So both the judge and the law firm bringing the Trump University case, both tied to La Raza. And I love the spin in a bunch of different newspapers. They go, well, he's on a judicial La Raza board that gets scholarships for illegal aliens. Or undocumented. Let me use the proper word since the government told me to. And he is involved in the same group that Sotomayor is, and actually have a New York Times quote here where Sotomayor in 1999, they were talking about her being a potential Supreme Court justice if Obama got elected. And well, I've got the article here, it's 2000 something. And she actually says in the article, well, I'm a Hispanic woman with particular wisdom, and so I'll be able to rule better on cases because I'm not a white man. Now, imagine if a white judge talked like that. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And here's what I'm getting at. If you're any other shade other than white, eggshell, then you are allowed to engage in classical racial organizations. You're allowed to have BET. Can you imagine white entertainment television? And I get it. Blacks have been downtrodden, had problems, and foisted out to the edge of society and all the rest of it. So you know, let folks have their own channel. I actually get that culturally. But there's been this extreme now where whites can't have any culture of any type.